Welcome to episode 2 of A Little Bit Unglamorous with your host, Erica Renee. And so for episode 2, I am filming the audio separately, so we're going to sync it post-production. Because the first episode had a little bit of reverb noise in the background that was driving me insane. I'm probably the only person that noticed it, but we are going to see if I can get a little bit better audio quality for round 2. I have a drink today. I felt like it was needed. This episode might be a little unhinged, but that's the way it's gonna go. That is kind of the premise of this podcast, right? So, okay, the first thing I want to note, first I need a drink. For those of us that are not watching the visual, I have myself a Cutwater vodka mule. Cutwater, please sponsor me. I love you. My favorite drink in a can by far. Delicious. So the first thing I want to note is my first episode was a unintentional, non-sponsored Nike ad. I didn't realize how much I kept saying, just do it. But you get the point, okay? If you want anything in life, you have to go for it. You have to create your own reality, and I'm a strong believer of that. Also, I have some notes from first episode, some feedback that I got from my loyal viewers, my mom and my boyfriend, and I had a couple of friends also tune in, so thank you so much. I am so excited to be finally getting this off the ground. And if you've noticed, we have a little bit different background today. So we're on the road right now. We're outside. I have a campfire by me. You might be able to hear some birds in the background, but I think the audio is actually pretty good. Surprisingly, the microphone doesn't pick up a lot of the background, but I have 2 very adorable huskies running around. My boyfriend might make a cameo in the background. We'll see. But today we have some beautiful background for me. So hopefully we can film this before the sun goes down. I'm pretty sure I have about 45 minutes or an hour, pretty much exactly the length of this. So we are going for it today. Okay, so the first notes that I have. My first listener was my mom. She listened to my podcast 3 times. I'm getting looks from off screen because my boyfriend is positive he's the first and second listener, which is probably true, actually. So both of them are my first listeners, and the first thing he wanted the audience to know is that he's seen Taylor Swift in concert, and I have not, but not by choice because he worked the concert as security. So that's a little salt to wound. He specifically said to mention that. My mom also listened to the podcast like 3 times. I think she watched the visual twice and listened to it on Spotify. So I don't know if that skews my numbers or not, but I'll take it because I'm pretty sure I have 2 viewers. So to my 2 viewers, hello. Thank you for listening, watching, and one of them's listening live, but he's going to go listen to the recording afterwards as well because we got to get those numbers. Okay, so first I'm going to talk a little bit about my week. I actually had an awful week, terrible week. I feel like I was in a mood all week. You ever get in those moods where you just want to cry about everything? I was kind of stressed about work. I had a great weekend, though, so I went to my first winery this weekend. It was a lot of fun up in Escondido. I forget the name, Ophelia Winery. I did that yesterday with some of my friends. It was one of my girlfriend's boyfriend's birthday, so we went up and did that. It was beautiful, actually, a dog-friendly place. And they do a la carte wines, so we ended up getting a bottle and actually a couple bottles for the table, and it was a lot of fun. Came back home, did a barbecue, had some drinks, and it was just overall a really nice, relaxing weekend. And so I wanted to talk about, okay, so you can see that I'm wearing my Taylor Swift to jacket I finally got, or it's a pullover, the purple pullover. I finally got like a huge order in the mail that I think I ordered 3 months ago, and it was back ordered at least 3 times. So I'm really excited for that. And maybe I should just make it a thing to wear the Taylor Swift merch every single podcast, because this is 2 in a row now. So, but another thing last week that happened to me is I went to the dermatologist for the first time in my life. It was actually kind of cool. I did like the whole body check scan or whatnot, and so PSA to go and get your skin checked. I never thought it was something that was important, but I had it was like a mark right under my eye, and I'm sure no one else other than myself noticed it. I'm sure if you like go back in a few recent videos, you might be able to notice it now, but the woman I went to was so sweet. She took it right off, no mark, no scar, sent it off for testing. Everything's good to go. But it was kind of scary because I had never had anything like that happen before. So PSA, get your skin checked. That's always a good thing to do. But so that was something interesting that happened to me this last week. I know something a little more exciting. Speaking of dermatologists, one of the hot items that the skincare enthusiasts have been talking about is this tretinoin. And basically, if you're not familiar with it, it's like a type of retinoid, which you can only get, at least the stronger prescriptions, you can only get if you go to a dermatologist and you get it prescribed. So that was one benefit that I had from going to the dermatologist, was I was able to ask for this hardcore retinol because, as you know, I'm trying to stay young forever, aren't we all? I have never tried Botox or anything like that. Not that I wouldn't or I have anything against it, but just as a statement, I have never tried it yet. In the future, will I? Maybe. My mom says she wants to go with me as well. I have a few friends that want to go with me as well. So maybe in the future, but so until then, I'm hoping that the tretinoin does this magic that it claims to. At least I've seen a bunch of before and afters that people just look baby smooth. So I'm hoping that it works magic for me. So while we're on the topic of things I'm currently obsessed with, if you're watching the visual, I have an adorable husky in the background right now making a cameo. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my current things I'm currently obsessing over. One, obviously, hello, Taylor Swift. I have all of her merch probably, and I told my boyfriend months ago that there would be no judgment when he saw me with every single piece of merch in her store from her concert. I don't think he really believes how much I meant that because I'm in it. I don't know when this happened, when this obsession happened, but I think it's something about going to the Eras Tour, realizing I won the lottery, that I've just become a super fan. So I'm so excited. But another thing that I found myself collecting, and I did not know this, but apparently collecting the Starbucks tumblers is a really big to-do, so much so that I follow a couple of people that dedicate their Instagram accounts to finding these rare Starbucks tumblers, and I wish I had the one right in front of me right now that I got recently, but it was a spring release. It's like the really pretty white mermaid one with the purple straw. And I'm pretty sure there was a couple of similar ones recently that came out. But I was walking in Vaughn's over where I live recently, and I actually did a whole YouTube video of me trying to search for this specific cup. It has not gone live yet. I need to edit it and get it up, but it's hilarious because I think I went to 3 different stores and this cup was nowhere to be found. And I have no idea how people online get so lucky, because this girl that I follow walked in and she there was dozens in her Starbucks wherever she was at. I think she's somewhere in Northern California. But I had long given up on the specific cup that I wanted, and I walked into Vaughn's last weekend on a random Saturday, I think. Walked in, saw the only one on the shelf, so of course I had to buy it. I don't think that video had a strong conclusion, so 2 months later I found the cup. But anyway, I know this December for holiday they released these gold and hot pink metallic cups, and I remember specifically because it was Veterans Day and my boyfriend and I were going around to different Starbucks, and I was making him go to a bunch of different Starbucks trying to hunt down these cups that I really wanted, and I ended up finding one and purchasing the other one on eBay later for a little bit of a higher price, but they make me so happy, and I feel like I have so many of them. But I follow these people online, and I feel like with most things, when you see somebody else that's going a little bit overboard more than you, it makes you feel a little bit better about your obsession. So I'm running out of cabinet space, but I feel like there are worse things to collect, more expensive things, worse things to have, more expensive hobbies than a little cup, Starbucks cup. So I keep telling myself that, even though I have minimal space, and on one end I want to be, who am I kidding? I'll never be a minimalist, but I do like the look of clean minimalism, but I like to have things. Does anybody else resonate with that? Because that is me to a core. I like my apartment to be clean, minimal, look like I own nothing, but I want to own all the things. And it's probably a little smoky right now. There's a fire going right by me, and of course the wind just changed, so anything could happen this episode. I guess that's what happens when you film outside. So hopefully we can get through this before the sun goes down. I kind of estimated when the sun was going to go down, but I probably should have actually looked it up. Speaking of Starbucks, so recently Starbucks came out with a olive oil based drink. I have not personally seen it or tasted it, but apparently they're putting olive oil in their drinks and marketing it as a health thing. And a surprising twist is, I guess it's giving people diarrhea, which I think is so freaking hilarious. But I'm trying to understand what I think they're trying to copy the brain octane coffee, where you put butter and coconut oil in the coffee, and it's supposed to make you be very concentrated. I don't know if they're taking from that and trying to recreate it with olive oil, because olive oil is supposed to be a healthier oil, I guess. But anyway, so that kind of backfired. I don't know if they pulled those drinks because of I don't know if it's exactly backlash, but it hasn't exactly gotten positive reception. So I thought that was kind of funny. But the last thing, my last current obsession lately, and I can thank Reddit for fueling all the things I'm interested in, by the way, because no matter what kind of enthusiast you are, there's a Reddit account for that. There's a Reddit subreddit for it. And I've really been into Doc Martens lately. They are so freaking cute. And I own a couple of pairs I've been eyeing. I keep describing things that I want, so I'm going to have to put it on the screen. But I've been eyeing this beautiful white pair, and I want to put pink laces on it. And it's a present I want to buy myself for my birthday this month now. Tomorrow is going to be May. May is my birthday on the 18th. So I can't believe it's already May. Time is just flying by, and I feel like I was joking the other day. I'm like, at a certain point, I feel like you are not ready for your birthday every year. I'm not sure at what age that happens, but I feel like now every year I'm like, whoa, I'm not prepared. I'm not ready this year, but I'm really excited. I have a few days off, and I don't really have anything planned yet, but I'm just excited to have a little bit of time to myself. And every year on my birthday, I kind of just always enjoy being able to spend it by myself or with someone that might also have the day off. I don't have any large plans, but I'll probably take the day to do something fun, maybe do a little shopping, and go to dinner with my boyfriend later that evening. I think my birthday is on a Thursday this year, so I took Thursday, Friday off, and then maybe I'll do something fun with my friends over the weekend. So I'm really excited for that. But that is my weekly recap. It was kind of a weird, rough week for me. So hopefully this next one I'm trying to pep myself up because it's my birth month, and I think it's a cardinal rule, that your birthday month is supposed to be the best month ever, and there is no room for any negative energy. So the next week is a new week, and we're going to start on a clean slate. And with that, I want to get into some pop culture. So the first thing is Coachella Fest has been going on recently. And if you know me, Coachella Fest is actually held in my hometown. So I'm from La Quinta, California, Palm Springs area, if you will. And Coachella Fest has been going on for years now. It used to be a really small event, believe it or not, and it was like a one-day ordeal. And now it's this whole 3-weekend car camping. People fly from all around the world to go to Coachella Fest, which is insane to me. And it's kind of cool that it kind of puts where I'm from on the map. People come from all around the world and they know Coachella, California. So growing up, it was pretty funny because, and I feel like this is true with most people, is you don't really appreciate where you are from until you move away. And after I moved away, and I live in a pretty nice area now, San Diego, amazing, arguably one of the best cities in the world, quote me on that. I have backup that would agree. Now every time I drive home, because I try to go see my family during the holidays, and the drive home is so beautiful, and as I'm going back and I'm like, wow, the roads are have so much less traffic, and it's beautiful here, it's clean, it's a pretty nice area, and now I just have like so much more respect for where I grew up. And it's pretty cool that other people can appreciate where I'm from as well, and people kind of know where I'm from because of it. And ironically, I have never been to a Coachella Fest, and I tell myself I have to at least go one time because just for the point of it. But I feel like I'm kind of past the whole, I'm definitely not going to camp in my car. I don't even know if I could go 3 days. I'm going to be honest. One day and I'm tired. Also, being from there, I do not know how people wear cowboy boots to the fairgrounds. It's been a big thing for years. People wearing the cowboy boots as part of their outfits, and the outrageous outfits are part of the appeal of Coachella. It's called, I think some people call it the Influencer Olympics because they have the most outrageous outfits, and it's so funny. And I actually uploaded a video a few weeks ago to my Instagram account, and my boyfriend graciously agreed to make a cameo in it, and it is my boyfriend roasting Coachella Fest outfits. So I definitely encourage you to check that out because it's really funny. He is not a big pop culture person. I personally love pop culture, so I'm constantly telling him all of the new gossip that's going on in the media and having to explain to him who these people are and what's going on. But I had him blindly react to celebrity outfits at Coachella, and it was a pretty fun time. So if you haven't seen that, it's up on my Instagram. And so a few weeks ago, when I was in Arizona, Love is Blind season 4 came out, and I've seen the first few seasons. I feel like at this point I'm committed. I'm one of those people, even if I start a season of something and it starts to go downhill, I feel like I need to finish it out of principle of it. So Love is Blind season 4, I binged that, I believe, over 2 days that I was sick, so it worked out great. And the season finale just aired, I believe, about a week ago. The reunion, Love is Blind reunion. And I have some takes on it because I know a lot of you have also tuned into Love is Blind. It's a Netflix exclusive. If you haven't seen it, you can always go back and rewatch it. It's the hosts are Nick and Jessica, oh my gosh, a Freudian slip. That was his first life. Nick and Vanessa Lachey. And they're the hosts of the show. They're the worst. I've been saying this since season 1. They're the worst hosts of all time. They barely even make any cameos. They don't have anything good to bring to the show. I'm an avid 90 Day Fiancé watcher, and the host that does all the reunions, I think her name is Sean, she always has the most targeted questions. She carries the whole reunion. She makes sure people stay on track. She puts people in their place. I feel like Nick and Jessica don't do a good job with that at all. And I always had that in the back of my mind from the second watching season 1. And apparently this season, other people also saw it my way, because there is a petition going on around the internet to replace Nick and Jessica. Oh my God, I keep saying the wrong name. Nick and Vanessa as hosts. So we'll see how that pans out. But I feel like the show could be slightly better with new hosts, because they're just awful in my opinion. Another funny thing that I saw from someone who was actually on the show, I guess posted on social media, and I was talking about this recently because I thought it was really hilarious. Apparently Nick Lachey is very short in real life, maybe like 5'6", something like that, and his wife is very tall. Vanessa is very tall, and apparently every time there's a scene on the show with both of them, they bring out this big box for him to stand on. So he's legitimately on a box standing right next to her, addressing his audience that is the show. And I just can't fathom how he can have a straight face and take himself seriously when he's standing on a box. Like, just own it. But that's like a little behind the scenes tea that I heard, and I think it's so funny. But going back to the actual reunion, so I wanted to talk about a couple of the characters, some of the cast that were on the show, specifically, well, the first people, Irina and Micah, the mean girls on the show. First of all, did you not realize you were being filmed? I can't for the life of me understand how you can go on a show and act like the most awful human being and forget that there are cameras around and all of America is going to think you're absolutely terrible. You'd think that you would censor yourself a little bit, but it didn't seem like they cared at all throughout the whole season about being openly really messed up to a lot of their cast members and even the people that they ended up engaged to, and it just seemed very weird to me. But I have to note, Irina actually showed up to the reunion, which is not, I can't say the same about some people in the past, like the last season, and I can't even remember the man's name because he didn't make it to actually being paired with somebody because he was just such a crappy human being. He was being interviewed in one of the confessionals or whatever after his person he was talking to picked somebody else. He stopped and he put Visine in his eyes to make it look like he was crying, and stopped and asked the producers, "Is this okay?" And I guess thought they were going to cut that out, and then he proceeded to pretend like he was crying and really upset. So his ass didn't even show up to the reunion because they knew that people were going to rip him a new one. But Irina, knowing that she looked like a piece of shit on the show, showed up to the reunion fully aware that everyone was going to come for her, so I'll give her that. I also have thoughts on Zach and Bliss. He gives me low-key, high-key serial killer vibes. But I kind of feel bad for Bliss. I can't imagine being embarrassed on a national TV show where the person that publicly you end up with picked somebody else first and then came back and said, just kidding, it didn't work out, I made the wrong choice, I'm so sorry, and she actually said yes and gave him a chance. And I feel like her family let him off the hook way too easy. And in the reunion, I believe they are still together and doing great, which actually surprised me quite a bit because I don't think I'd be able to get over that, especially if people asked me about it. But those are my notes from the Love is Blind reunion. The Netflix show was having some weird technical issues because the rest of the show glitched, and I was never able to watch the rest. I know they were having weird issues. They were supposed to go live, but that's all I got from the reunion. So that's all I got for you. The next thing in pop culture is the Kardashians have their 557th season coming out, I believe on Hulu. Maybe it's season 4 of Hulu. I thought for some reason that the show was going to get canceled, but they're still going strong. I have some notes from the trailer that I saw, and I actually thought it was pretty interesting. So in the trailer, Kim and Kanye are very publicly falling apart. And if you have been in the news, you have seen all of the chaos surrounding that. But most recently, they've been using Travis and Kourtney. You've been hearing, if you're anywhere, you've been hearing Kravis. Everybody's been obsessed with Kourtney and Travis Barker. So they recently got married in Italy. I believe it was Portofino, and they flew out all their family and friends to this very exorbitant event, and everybody had this couture on that was designed by A, B, and C designers, and Dolce & Gabbana very publicly designed Kourtney's dress. And it was a very non-traditional dress. It was short with this giant train that said "till death do us part" or something on it in this graphic writing, just very gaudy, very, very statement piece, something that I feel won't age well in a photo, but I guess that's their whole MO, right, is to make a statement, and they definitely did that. They wanted to do their own thing. But something funny that I saw on the trailer, and I did not know this previously or put this together, 2 and 2 together, but apparently Kim was offered a partnership or a deal with Dolce & Gabbana, and I know that she did their fashion show, and it was called, I don't even remember what it was called, to be honest, but it basically had her, while the models were walking down the runway, they had a video of her eating pasta, very sexual and slow, and she honestly looked really good. Every time I eat pasta, I wonder if it's gonna go everywhere, and she made it look amazing, I'm not gonna lie. But I remember thinking to myself that the whole Dolce & Gabbana show looked very similar to Kourtney and Travis's wedding, at least the style of their outfits, and I thought that was really interesting. So the trailer came out, and apparently Kourtney was pissed because she took that deal while they were in Italy at the same time as Kourtney's wedding, and she used it as a business deal. And I think she actually had them filming at her wedding. I'm not sure about that, don't quote me on it, but I think so. And Kim was trying to defend herself, saying, I specifically told Dolce & Gabbana not to do anything that Kourtney did for her wedding as far as design-wise, and I don't really see how that makes it okay. But I thought that was very interesting. And then the next thing on the trailer is Kylie saying, basically alluding, not saying directly, that she wishes she had never done any sort of plastic surgery or fillers, and now that she's a new mom, she doesn't want to pass that on to her child and make her child think that she needs to do all this stuff to be considered beautiful. And she posed the question, we need to think about what are the beauty standards that we as a family are putting out into society. And I thought that was really interesting, actually. All the while, all of them traded down their butt implants and now they're calling it the resurgence of heroin chic because they're all painfully skinny. But I thought that was interesting. Also, Shayna Moakler, who is Travis's ex-wife and mother of their children, has a lot to say on social media because Travis and Courtney have just been posting their love story all over the place. And Travis's children very publicly are in a lot of those posts and claim to really love Courtney, which I think is awesome, but Shayna does not like that, and I can't really blame her. I could see both sides, honestly. I would feel bad if my kids and family were out posting about, their so-called new family. But personally, I love Alabama Barker. She is so cute. I think she's 16, 17 now, coming out with her own makeup line. She looks like a baby Shayna. Beautiful, gorgeous. And she even raps, which surprisingly, she's actually really good. While we're on the topic of Kardashians, I just have to touch on Khloe and Tristan. I believe they're also in the trailer as well, and at this point he's like very publicly cheated on her at least 4 times, so the world is like, girl, Khloe, what are you doing? Leave this man. Looping back to Coachella Fest, Blink-182 actually was a headliner, I believe, weekend 1, and they ended up headlining weekend 2 as well because I think the headliner pulled out last minute, but it was the first time the band had been back together, I believe, in years. And last I heard, I believe Tom, the main singer, he had cancer. He was dealing with cancer, so he must be doing well now. But it was really cool to see them come back together because when I was growing up, Blink-182 was all the rage. Everybody still loves Blink-182 to this day. So that was really cool to see. Another hot topic that's in the news right now is Millie Bobby Brown. She is the star of Stranger Things. She plays 11. And I believe she is 19. But she recently got engaged to John Bon Jovi's son. I don't know his name, but it's kind of created a divide on the internet. Most people are really happy and excited for them. Go young love, that's great. But also, some people are saying, is it too young to get engaged? What do you think? I think all power to her. They have enough money that if it doesn't work out, they'll be fine. So, but they look really cute and they appear to be really happy. So good for Millie. On the topic of marriage, David's Bridal is closing, which is arguably the worst store ever. Personally, I thought they had the ugliest dresses of all time. In the day and age of the internet, you can find something so much cheaper and affordable and exactly what you want on the internet and have it delivered straight to your door. So I can see why companies like David's Bridal are going under. It was supposed to be a very affordable option, but still high-end, considered high-end. But personally, I never felt like any of their stuff was really that good, and you're paying an absorbent price still. Moving on to a slightly different topic, I have to talk about the takeover of AI. So ChatGPT came out recently. Personally, I have not dabbled with it, but apparently you can ask this AI, it's like a chat thing, anything, and it will write resumes for you. It will answer questions for you. There's been a whole bunch of stuff come up. And first of all, I want to know where this was when I was in school. And also for all the employers that asked me for a cover letter, that's an immediate no for me. So, yeah, it'll write you resumes, and I just think it's absolutely outrageous. And I thought something really funny was they are now cloning music, like creating songs that don't actually exist with popular singers' voices, because you could just take the audio clips and splice them together. And a bunch of people, of course, are really upset about that, but I thought it was really funny because Grimes came out publicly on Twitter saying, if anybody creates a top song with my voice using AI, I will split 50% of the royalties with you. And I thought that was really funny because that's a money move. And I mean, a hit's a hit, but I can understand how people are up in arms about that. But there's so much weird stuff coming out about AI and what does that mean for the future of technology. And it kind of poses the question, when is too far? At what point is the robots and technology, when is too much? So I did a little Instagram poll the other day, and I kind of just put feelers out there of what people wanted to hear about in terms of current pop culture stuff. I feel like there's not a lot of new stuff out there going on. So I put a little poll, and I had a couple of responses from my friends, and they watch Vanderpump Rules, which is personally not a show that I watch. They were telling me they wanted to hear about Scandoval, which is the coined term for Tom Sandoval and Rachel, aka Raquel, on the show Vanderpump Rules. And so I immediately was like, okay, the people want to hear about this, so I got to research about it a little bit. And the first person I went to was my mom. She is up to date with the Vanderpump Rules. She watches it. She loves it. In fact, she sends me her synopsis all the time, and I feel bad saying I have no idea who these people are or what's going on. But I have about 5 paragraphs or so of responses from her. She wrote me so much, and I'm going to read this to you because I thought it was hilarious. So I asked my mom, what is Scandoval? And she said, I've been watching. Tom Sandoval and Rachel, aka Raquel, thumbs down. Having a worst affair against her best friend Ariana, who has been with Sandoval for about 9 years, and just froze her eggs for future children with Sandoval. Lots more. 5 exclamation points. Rachel was engaged to James, the DJ / broke it off, and he now has a nice new girlfriend / Rachel was out with the girls, and after Lala Kent thought Oliver's server at one of the Vanderpump restaurants was hot, she set her eye emojis on him and made out. He's the son of one of the housewives and friend of Lisa Vanderpump. Wife saw pics and shamed her on social media as they're still married with kids. She claims he said they are separated. That's just the start. Anyway, so my mom went on and on. She's really into this. So apparently the lowdown is Tom Sandoval was married to this woman, Ariana, for at least 9 years. And another girl on the show started cheating with her. And apparently while Ariana was at her grandma's funeral, which is salt to wound, insult to injury. Like, you've been together 9 years, and not only did you ditch grandma at her deathbed, you went and cheated with some girl that is also on the show, which a few people have brought up. Was it planned? Is it true? Is it real? How could you be publicly that stupid if you're on a TV show? So was it all for the ratings, or is it actually happening? Apparently they've been spotted out and about wearing these matching lightning bolt necklaces for months, and apparently that was one of the reasons that they got outed. So they basically outed themselves. So apparently the cards are not stacking up for them. It's not looking too hot, but it's still unwinding on the show. I think it's really unfortunate that they were planning to have kids together. They just apparently had just, I believe, inseminated embryos to freeze eggs for the future. That's very unfortunate. I don't know how the laws work on that, but I'm pretty positive if you break up, those have to be destroyed, and that's just devastating to have to be with somebody so long and have it go up in flames like that in such a public and embarrassing way. That's a no for me. This whole cheating thing reminds me of back in the 2000s. Usher came out with his Confessions album. I think it was Confessions 1 and 2, and it was all about how he was cheating, etc., and it was all over the news. And later that came out to be all made up just for the album sales, and I don't think anybody ever realizes that to this day, but I feel like this could be very similar. Then again, I do know the Desperate Housewives drama with Erica Jane, and I don't follow Desperate Housewives either, but I went and I looked it up because it was so fascinating. The layers are so deep. I'm really into the true crime community, and apparently her ex-husband was dabbling in some not good stuff, but basically, so now she makes music and he was funding all of this. He basically met her and gave her everything she wanted, funded her music career, and I don't think he actually had the money. He was embezzling money, and now he is on trial for that, I believe now, or I'm not sure if it's even started yet, but she very publicly divorced him and is living her best life on Instagram and said, "See ya." So, I mean, maybe there's some truth to this, but it definitely does help the show ratings. So at the end of the day, I feel like it makes it a little easier to swallow when you're getting a good paycheck for it, and it doesn't excuse it or make it any better, but I'm just saying it's better than nothing. So that's about all I have for you this week. I was really scraping to find some hot pop culture topics. It's been kind of slow lately, I feel. Something really cool about the Spotify podcast is you can actually film a little audio question if you wanted to submit a question for me and have me respond to it. That's really cool, and I can do little polls. So maybe in the future I'll dabble with that. So that's about all I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in to A Little Bit Unglamorous. I will see you next Wednesday. If you have any pop culture topics you specifically want to hear about, any questions you want to hear my opinion on, you can always shoot me an email over at alittlebitunglamorous@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram. I will be announcing when podcasts are released, little clips from the podcast. So if you want to follow me there, I will really appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening. I am so excited to be doing this, and I am really grateful for anyone that takes the time to listen to my podcast or watch it. And until next time, I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.